In this lesson, we are going to create shipping address page. When user on shopping cart page click on proceed to checkout, we are going to implement this checkout wizard and generate shipping address form to get the shipping address from user. Source code of this lesson is here in the repository. Go to commit section, find the last, find commit 14 get shipping address, and then compare your code with mine. Let's get to code. Here is the plan to get shipping address from user. Let's start by creating shipping address schema in validator.ts. Go to validator.ts, and in the cart section, right after cart item schema, define shipping address schema and export it. It's a Zod object that contains these fields: full name, street address, city postal code, country, latitude, and longitude. They are optional. We work on the Google Map in next lesson to get latitude and longitude, but the focus of this lesson is getting this information from user, all of them of type string, minimum length of 3, and here is the error messages. Good. Next step is creating a type based on this schema. Go to index.ts in types folder, and then here create shipping address type and export it. It comes from z.infer type of shipping address schema. So Zod automatically generate a type based on shipping address schema that we have defined in validator. Next step is creating default values for shipping address. Go to constants/index in live folder and export const shipping address default values. Step 4 is adding address field to the user table. Go to schema, find user table, and right after image, add address. The data type is JSON, name of field is address, and the type of this JSON data is shipping address imported from types folder like this. To apply this change to the database, we need to run this command: npx drizzle push. Awesome. This field has been added to the database on Vercel, and we are ready for next step. It's in the user action. We need to define get user by ID function. Go to user action. At the very end, add this function, get user by ID. It accepts user of type string. Search the database, the user table for that ID, and if user does not exist, return an error, otherwise return the user information. Next step is creating update user address in user action. Let's define this function. After get user by ID, define this one. In this function, I get user address and save it in the address field in the user table. Import shipping address type from types/index. Get the session using auth. Get the current user. If current user does not exist, raise an error. Then check the data, the parameter to this function using shipping address schema.parse to make sure that it is validated data. If it's okay, go to the next step to update the user address field based on the current user ID. Find the current user and update the address based on the data passed to user to update user address function. Import EQ from drizzle, ORM, and revalidate place order page. At the end, return success to true and this beautiful message. If there is something wrong, return the subject success false, and message should be formatted by format error and send it back to the front end. Good. Next step is creating checkout steps component. Here we're gonna show checkout steps wizard. In the component shared new file checkout steps.tsx. It's a super simple component. What I'm gonna do here is to define checkout steps function. It accepts current state as a number. By default it's 0, and at the end export default this component. In the return part, create a div, make it flex between and flex column. If we are in medium device, make it flex row. Create a space vertically and horizontally, and then convert this array. This array contains all steps including user login, shipping address, payment method, and place order. They are checkout steps. Convert each string to a React fragment. Set the key to step to get rid of unique key error. And inside this fragment, create a div. Set the class name to this static value. Make it rounded, text center, text small, create padding, set width. But this part is the dynamic part. If current index is equal to current step, change the background color to BG secondary, otherwise don't set the color. So by having this setting and setting current value, we can make the steps checked in the UI. If steps does not equal to place order, create horizontal line, and that's it about this component. Let's go for next step. It's creating shipping address form inside shipping address in the root. Let's create shipping address folder, go to the app root, new folder, shipping address 2p, and inside that create new file, shipping address form. It's a client-side component, so we need to mark it as use client and then export default function shipping address form. It accepts address of type shipping address. It can be null, import shipping address from types, and then access to the router in the next / navigation. Here it's time to install React Hook Form. We're gonna use this package to handle validation in the form. Let's go for it. Open a new terminal, npm add React Hook Form and @hook form /resolver. We need these packages to implement shipping address form. Awesome. Let's go back to the shipping address form and import use form and submit handler from React Hook Form, this line, and Zod resolver from @hook form /resolver /Zod. Import Z from Zod. Import shipping address schema from validator and import shipping address default value from constant. For toast, import toast from shadcn and use transition from React. Define onSubmit function. The return value is of type submit handler. It's coming from React Hook Form. Template of this type is coming from the shipping address schema. I can change it to shipping address to make it simpler here and here, much easier. So for onSubmit, we accept value of type shipping address. In the start transition function, we pass an async function, and inside that we call update user address. So values contains so when user click on submit button to save the shipping address, we call update user address as server action and then get the response. If it's not successful, toast error message, otherwise redirect user to the next step, which is getting payment method, the selected payment method from user. Let's go for return part here. Import checkout steps, set current steps to 1 to make it shipping address enabled, and then create a div. Inside that, create heading 1, set the title to shipping address, and subtitle is please enter the address that you want to ship to. Then render a form. It's coming from React Hook form, and use ... form and pass the form properties like this. Inside that, create a form. It's HTML form. Set method to post. For onSubmit, call form.handleSubmit. The form is coming from here, the React Hook form object. Handle submit and pass onSubmit. Here is the onSubmit function. It's the handler of this form submission. As parameter to it, inside that, create the first input box, create a div. Inside that, render form field. It's coming from here. We need to install shadcn form, open a new terminal, pnpm dlx, add form. Using this code. Using this code, we install form component from shadcn. So here for this one, I'm not going to use form from React Hook form. Get rid of it. Get rid of that. We don't need it anymore. Come back to the form component, import it from component/UI/form. It comes from shadcn. Form field comes from shadcn. Form item again, label shadcn, and form control shadcn. Input is coming from shadcn too, and form message to show error messages for this field from shadcn. So if we check the import, it's gonna be like this. All form stuff is coming from shadcn in @components/UI/form. Go back. Here is the first input box to get full name from user. Next one is for getting a street address. Next one is for city. So here I'm going to get city and country and postal code in one row if I'm in medium device. For mobile devices, I'm going to get them in 3 different rows. So using this class, I can have all of them in one single row. The city, country, and postal code. After this div, create another div to shape a button. Import button from component/UI/button shadcn. If is loading, show loader icon, Lucid React. Otherwise, render arrow right from Lucid React and continue as caption of this button. Save the code. Let's go for next step. It is creating page.tsx in shipping address in root. Go to this folder, new file, page.tsx. Set the page title, import metadata from next to shipping address -app name. It's coming from constant. Then export default async function shipping address, get user shopping cart using get my cart. If it doesn't exist or it doesn't have any item, redirect user to the cart page. Import redirect from next/navigation. Then access to the session, get user ID by this function from user actions, and then render shipping address form, pass the user address as address property of shipping address component. Save the code. Let's check the result. I'm in shopping cart page and click on proceed to checkout. Awesome. We successfully implemented shipping address page. Please enter the address. I'm getting full name, address, city, country, and postal code. Let's test it. I'm going to enter sample address and click on continue. I will be redirected to 404 because payment method is not implemented yet. Let's click back and refresh the page. So when I'm refreshing this page, all information is persisted in this form because they are saved in the backend in the user table. Let's check it. Just in a new terminal, npx Drizzle Kit Studio to check the backend Postgres database. Open this link, go to user table, find the user test, scroll. As you see in the address, I have user address as JSON data. Great. We successfully implemented getting shipping address from user in the checkout wizard. Let's test it with logged out user. Go to homepage, select a product, add to cart, go to cart page, proceed to checkout. As you see, I need to log in. So let's log in. And after login, I will be redirected to the shipping address page. Awesome. We successfully implemented this feature. Until next lesson. Bye-bye.